G'day everyone, today I'm about an hour south of Sydney in New South Wales to visit the New South Wales Tramway Museum here at Loftus. So we're going to go check out what there is to do there and everything they've got on display. Now I came here about 20 years ago and I'm pretty keen to be back here. So anyway, if you are new here, don't forget to be subscribed so you can keep up to date with all my trip, reports and reviews and things like that. Anyway, let's go and head inside. So the museum is Australia's oldest tramway museum and has been open since the 1980s to showcase some of Sydney's former tramways. So a really brief history of Sydney's trams. At one point they had one of the biggest tramway networks in the world and the biggest in the Southern Hemisphere, starting in 1879 with horse-drawn trams, then to steam power and finally electric trams, which ran across, at its peak, 291 kilometres of network until 1961, when it was completely removed and it was replaced with buses, or I guess the dependency on private car ownership. In 2022, they're back. Well, kind of. Since 1997, they began reintroducing a light rail network to Sydney, although it has seen a pretty tumultuous rollout. But now there is just short of 30 kilometres of network and plans for more. It does make me wonder if we'll ever get to see the ill-fated monorail ever make a return. Now the trams at the museum are quite varied. The museum houses and operates trams not just from Sydney, but they also have examples from all over Australia, like Melbourne, Brisbane, Ballarat and Adelaide. Some notable or very interesting trams are ones like this 1909 prison tram, which was used until 1950 for transporting prisoners between Darlinghurst Courthouse and Long Bay Jail. They also have some international guests like this Peter Wilt streetcar from Milan, a San Francisco PCC tram, one from Nagasaki, and some ex-Munich trams. As well as the last remaining Vario tram, which was introduced in 1997 and withdrawn in 2015. Unfortunately, it was hiding the day I was there. They also have some buses, all housed in a main display hall, all with the appropriate information and the option of a guided tour. I realised that there were also a lot more trams there, but not on display for the general public, so depending on when you're there, you might get different trams to when I visited. On that, the trams running on the day I visited were the 1930 built Y1 class tram from Melbourne, number 611, which was also restored by the Bendigo Tramway Workshops, as well as at the 1963 built Brisbane FS class tram. Both beautiful examples of a bygone era of transport. I mean, their wooden interior and opening the windows makes the journey along the line a really special one. Now, in regards to riding these trams, there are unlimited tram rides included in your ticket, and the line goes in two directions. The museum operates 4 kilometres of track. One line runs 1.5 kilometres northwards to Sutherland, paralleling Rawson Avenue, in a way that parts of the Sydney's tram network operated. The second run is 2.5 kilometres to the south and utilises the Royal National Park Branch railway line that was constructed in 1886 and closed by City Rail in June 1991. Once over the highway, which is a very interesting crossing on its own, you meander up the line to the former National Park Station through bushland, a really unique experience.
Now looking at the buildings, there's a main museum hall which houses some of the trams for public viewing. There's also storage facilities which have this interesting ex-Comenge and City Rail traverser. There's a gift shop in an old tram with a small kiosk, an elevated tramway signal box which once stood at the corner of Elizabeth and Liverpool streets in Sydney and was used to control tram movements and switch trams, as well as many other tramway and Sydney artefacts. Something that's quite impressive out there is the former YMCA facade that was previously located on the corner of Pitt and Bathurst streets in Sydney's central business district, which was moved there in 2001. And I'm sure when it's completed, it'll be something really special. They also have the former Railway Square building, which once sat outside Central Station, which was once a large interchange for the majority of the former tram network. It was pulled apart and moved to the location and looks right at home in the park. So, how do you get to the Tram Museum? You can drive and there is parking, but I just caught the T4 train towards Waterfall from Central Station in the heart of Sydney, which was about a 35-minute journey. The museum is located right next door to the station. I even got to see the picnic train running a special on the day I went. If you are interested in heading along to the museum, a ticket will set you back $20 for an adult or $15 for a senior or concession card holder, $10 for children who are enrolled in school, and preschool children are free. There are also family tickets available which will get you 2 adults and 1 child, or any additional children in the family are free for $50. The museum is open every Wednesday and Sunday from 10 AM. They also operate on other days like for special events such as the Vintage Tramway Festival and Trams After Dark, as well as some others. But be sure to check the website before you go, which I'll leave the details in the description below. So that's the Tram Museum, a great, well-presented museum and absolutely worth a trip out there to ride some great old trams or even some not so old trams. Anyway, that's the wrap up for me visiting the museum. Till next time, hooroo.